Hey everyone, I'm here today. I didn't ever get your name.
Dylan.
Oh, Dylan. I can't believe I've been having a conversation for the last hour and I never even got your name. But
No, you're right. Yeah.
yeah, so Dylan's come to us today at the Well and Future Hub with an amazing idea, and we're here at the moment just to share it and talk about this idea. So Dylan, tell us about your idea and why it's something that's important to you.
So I want to start with the local kids, Kilmore, Wallen, Broadford, Wandong. I feel that there's a lot of problems, self-esteem problems and drug problems out there at the moment, and there's a lot that the community can do, but they're too scared to speak up about it or just frowning upon them. So I'd like to start an almost not-for-profit gold coin donation gym as such, like not a fitness gym, but a place, a sanctuary for the kids to go to after hours, so like a 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock sessions to build on like their boxing skills, their what do you call it?
Just overall, like kind of fitness.
Overall fitness. Give them get a few mentors in, maybe some retired ex-boxers to teach the kids a lot about self-esteem, so that when we go to pubs, we're not going to be fighting the whole time. We're not going to be looking for fights. When you go to the city, their parents can have peace of mind that they're not going to get themselves into situations that they shouldn't. And then just stamping out the stigma of that the kids are bad, they're going to end up in jail, they're still getting in trouble with the law, rather than those sort of, what would you call it? Those sort of...
Like circumstances.
Circumstances.
Yeah.
But start giving them a purpose in the community, start teaching them about respect for others, elders, and their family is the biggest one. And then, so my vision is, so boredom is the biggest thing around here. There's a lot of work and stuff going on, but there's no motivation in the kids to do it because they're not offered jobs, they're not offered positions in the community because they're frowned upon as such, and they're feeling not wanted, so they're just stuck in their little groups running amok during the day, making a nuisance of themselves because they're not really fitting in the community. They don't feel like they belong, and
So what kind of difference does that make for young people to feel like they can fit in and feel like they have perhaps, for example, a group of people who they know are looking out for them?
So if they have a lot of mentors that have gone through the situations that they're going through, rather than speaking to somebody that they know that they're just reading off a text, all they know is what they've read off a textbook, rather than speaking to people that are a lot older, have a lot of life skills, they can relate to them a bit more, they have a bit more respect for them, then they will start seeing improvements in themselves, self-esteem, self-confidence will come up. If they, let's just say if it was boxing, if they've got problems or dramas or that, then they can either take it out of the bag and spar in the ring, learn respect for the opponent that they're sparring, and then also incorporate a lot of meditation, yoga, to work on their inner self as well, and then running different classes in this as well. So it's not just going to be fitness based, because realistically there's a lot of kids out there that are fit, but their mental health is not fitted up at all.
Absolutely. And we often see the link between suicide and mental health in men. The rates of suicide in men is so much higher than for women. And I think that's got a lot to do with the fact that women are much more likely to, I guess, share what they're going through, whereas men tend to bottle it up. And so what kind of, I guess, difference do you think that would make for young men to have a support group?
A massive difference. I know I personally have battled with a drug addiction for 2 years. I'm recently clean, and it's just, I had nowhere to really go. And until you come clean, you don't get clean. So by that I mean come clean with yourself is the biggest one. Your friends, your family, your mentors and peers, because you can lie to yourself all you want and say you're never going to be the person that you think that you see out in the community, but realistically you are that person from the start.
Absolutely.
You never think you're going to get to that spot, but until you really hit rock bottom, you're never going to know. And we what we want to do is never let those kids experience rock bottom, because it's not a good place to be.
Absolutely.
And stamping out all of these issues, because realistically it's a boredom thing, but it's a sense of not feeling welcome and trying to hide and mask the problems that they've had, whether it be bullying, whether it be not a good family, whether it be friends, whether it be just like girlfriends that have left them and they feel bad, so they've turned to drugs, and then one thing leads to another. And it just, mental health these days in younger men, I feel the biggest part of it is drugs.
Absolutely.
And whether it's because of drugs or them turning to drugs because of mental health, because they got nowhere else to go, is the biggest thing.
So how is this approach different to the sort of things that are out there? We have things like rehab services and education in schools, but why do you think they're not working?
So the rehab services these days, kids don't want to acknowledge that they're that bad, so they're never going to enroll or never going to accept the fact that they're going to go to rehab. So I feel that nobody needs to go to rehab, and there's a way around it if we can give them a sense of purpose and give them something to do and feel like they're wanted. Then they're not just going to be stuck being that junkie.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I
so
mean?
It's kind of about stereotypes as well, and
exactly. The biggest part.
And it's one of the things that you touched on earlier was that this sort of thing will help prevent violence. How will this help prevent violence?
So it's about respect. So not just the boxing thing is one of it, but if to prevent violence, it will bring the kids in, learn a lot of self-respect for themselves, teach even kids that aren't on drugs. They can come into these classes and learn skills to help defend themselves from the one punch, from someone coming up and picking a fight. They can diffuse situations before they even start, with walking away, with saying the right things, giving the kids the right words to say to de-escalate situations, or if it comes to it, putting their hands up and being able to defend themselves from attackers and then walking away.
Absolutely.
But also, like at the pubs, it'll give them a newfound respect for them and the older people, because that's all it is. Everyone's just fighting. The biggest fight is with themselves.
Absolutely, yeah.
And because they're scared, they want to prove themselves. But when it comes down to it, if they go to the pub, someone knocks them when they're drinking, they're going to be like, hang on a minute, is it worth it? Nah. But now, at the moment, it's all right, you've knocked me, it's on.
Exactly. So it's kind of like they've got like an outlet.
It's an ego.
Yeah.
The biggest thing's their ego. Once you knock down their ego, they've got nothing. And they're just at the equal with everyone else. But you can't just knock down one person's ego. You need to do it across the board. And until they've done that, then they're still going to be the same people they are, until they accept the fact that they need to change, that they need to help each other and everyone else. Then it's not going to happen.
And I thought one of the really interesting things you said before too is often men like to just, sort of get anger out of their system, and the way they'll do that is, massive dangerous punch up at the pub.
Yeah, or punching holes in the walls.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
so, but you were saying that with boxing, it could be constructive, it could be about releasing anger in a healthy way.
100%, yeah. Taking it out on the bags, or if you really do have a beef with someone, you take it out into a control environment, sparring in the ring, and whoever wins, you're going to shake hands afterwards. And then that situation's diffused. Whereas with the women, it's a little bit different. Some of them are the same, but then their whole grudge is a little bit longer. You find with most males, they'll fight it out. They'll be friends the next week.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
They sort of punch it out and then they're good. So,
yeah.
It's a great way of, sort of decreasing violence by providing a healthy outlet.
But mind you, this isn't just for males either. If there's females that want to get involved, that are looking for self-defense and that thing as well, to protect themselves from arrogant men that think they can just use them as a toy, then this is for them as well. Like, it's not just for young males that are on drugs. This is for anybody in the community. This is also a class, or would be eventually, hopefully, a class to help an awareness in the community. So for parents to come to listen, to join in, to what we can help to help our children, because some of them just turn a blind eye these days, and enable them realistically by not accepting the fact that their kids are on the drugs or doing bad things, because they don't want to believe that that's actually them. So if they come to these sort of things and parents start talking to each other instead of not talking and just hiding behind their computers or hiding behind the phone, then they get an awareness. Then the kids know that the parents know, and instead of shaming them, we can help them out.
Actually do something to change the problem rather than just pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah, either pretend it doesn't exist, or they're just going to try and punish them, and that's just going to make it worse, make them sneak out, do it behind your back, and then that's when you get in trouble.
So, and actually that relates to one of the things we were talking about before, about some of the things that people call for when they're talking about things like drugs or alcohol. Is they say we need just a crackdown from police. We just need, harsher penalties. Why doesn't that work?
Because it's just going to move people. So if they put more drugs buses out there and stuff, there's ways to bypass them. There's apps on your phone you can get that tell you where the cops are. So you can they're just going to bypass the coppers, and also it just moves them off the streets into their sheds. So then they're going to be in their sheds doing it, or they're going to be in someone's house doing it. They're going to be at clubs doing it. And fair enough, they might get a lift home. But if the more coppers that have been on the roads, fair enough, they might be getting more people, but it's not doing anything in our community. Yeah. It's not helping out each other, because most of the time, if you put more cops out there, the people that are on the drugs are younger than 18, they don't have a license yet.
Absolutely.
And they're the ones that we want to get involved in this, because they're the ones that their brains aren't developed. It's going to affect them more in the long term if they keep it going. And fair enough, a few older people can get more than welcome to get involved, but the younger kids, they're the ones we want involved, because we don't want them to be in jail in the future.
Absolutely.
There's more to life than that.
Definitely. So this is a way of really getting to the source of the problem, as opposed to, just trying to fix it with Band-Aid fixes.
100%.
More penalties.
Instead of going to the doctors and they prescribing you with depression, so you're going to get medication just masking that problem. And then for some people that have a strong addiction to everything that they do, that's just another thing for them to get off.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's more than just, giving people more drugs to combat problems. It's about, actually changing the things that's causing the problems to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and what do you need from the community to make this happen? How can people support you if they want to help?
So at the moment we're looking for, this isn't up and running yet, but we're looking for a facility to have held this, so maybe 2 or 3 times a week after, say, 7 to 8. We can bring our own equipment, put a mat down, bring in our own bags so they can be removed. Or if we have a facility we're able to leave stuff set up over a longer period, we can look into something like renting it off. But we really want a lot of older, even retired people for mentors as kids. So then not just the 2-3 times a week that they come, but so that they feel safe those 3 days that they're not here. They got someone to call if they need mentoring, because there's not much out there. They don't want to call the kids helpline because they're not accessible. They can't come to you.
So people like mentors who can help young people in a tough situation and just be there in a non-judgmental way. And
someone for them to look up to.
Absolutely. Someone who's, like a support network for them if they don't have people in their lives who can help them out. Yeah, absolutely. And so you're looking for a space, mentors.
A space, some mentors, maybe some boxing teachers that are going to do after hours yoga teachers.
Great.
And maybe some boxing bags, just a couple little things to get up and running.
Absolutely.
And then so we'll make it a Gold Coin donation, so then that'll buy mouth guards, or it'll buy waters and that sort of thing, or set up a fountain or that initially, and then it'll still stay a Gold Coin donation, but then slowly hopefully progress and get bigger, and then we're looking at doing big things with this.
Absolutely. Creating, a whole new life trajectory for young people, whether that be through mentoring. opportunities. We talked about how young people could have more opportunities in business, for example, you being a business owner yourself. And this could become really huge for young people, not just in our community, but in other communities as well.
100%.
So if they want to get involved, if anyone has something that they'd like to contribute to this project, we're always happy to take donations of fitness equipment and boxing bags and things like that here at the Hub. But what about if they'd like to offer their skills or their service? What's the best way for people to get in touch with you? Through here? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So feel free to send us a message or send us an email. I'll put my email address in the description and we'll pass that right along.
Perfect.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today. This is a really exciting idea and we cannot wait to see it happening here in the community.
Thank you. Cheers.